the Defiant Ones right now. We have Tara ZEP, and she's live and in person. Last time we had her as a part of a group, but this time we're focusing all on the origin story of the villain Tara ZEP. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So okay, let's talk about all of villain Tara ZEP's favorite subject, herself. Right?
True narcissist.
Yeah. So what was your as a little kid, were you a fan of wrestling?
I was, yes.
Okay, so what was your first memory of wrestling?
So my first memories are of wrestling.
Yeah, so...
my parents used to watch it. My dad's an MMA instructor.
Really?
Always was, yeah. So he always had like pride fighting on, UFC, like one fighting, and my mom was super into wrestling because she just likes hot bods, I guess.
There you go, yeah.
So yeah, my parents were watching a lot of wrestling, and then I got into it. I remember, I don't know, I was like 5 when I first remember watching it, but I didn't really start to completely fall in love with it until I met The Undertaker.
Really?
Yeah.
So you met The Undertaker?
On TV.
Oh, okay.
Until I first locked eyes on him on TV.
So he was your favorite immediately.
Oh, 100%. He was like probably my first crush.
Wow.
Yeah, like he just like changed everything for me.
So
definitely.
Were you into like the scary part, the horror movie kind of aspect of it?
Yep. When I was a little kid, I had really long hair and I would wear it down like in my face, and I drew teardrop on my face.
Okay, so
went to
kind of
school
goth
with a teardrop.
Yeah.
And like when he did that ages me, I suppose. But
Sure.
like back when he had that gimmick. And yeah. And then I loved China too. I thought she was cool. I used to write them. I used to write China. I used to write Psycho Sid. They never wrote me back.
But fan letters.
But yeah. So I definitely grew up on it.
This was in Canada, Vancouver?
No, I grew up in Ontario.
Okay.
Actually, I'm from the same town as Edge, which is a tiny little town called Orangeville, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of his because he was from your area too?
You know what? My dad, so he does MMA on the side. It's like mostly his hobby, but he fixed photocopiers randomly.
Okay.
And so he used to fix the photocopier at his high school. And it's funny because I thought that was so cool, even though he was way well out of high school.
Sure.
My dad would be like, I fixed the photocopier where Edge went to high school. I'm like,
That's
that
awesome.
is just the coolest.
Yeah. That's Edge, man. That's amazing. And
the little things.
Being that, you were such a fan of the dark, macabre Undertaker,
Yeah.
you were probably a fan of the Brood too.
Yeah. I was into them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Did you take to it, like, did you ever think, like I could do this? Like, when did you start
Okay, so the era that I grew up in, it was like the beginning of the Attitude Era. And women didn't look like me. You know what I mean? I was also a child, so I didn't have breasts or like, sexuality or anything. But I think that really intimidated me.
And that was the main focus of women in that
felt
era.
like that kind of person, I guess, as a woman. So I never really thought that is something I could ever do, But I mean, and then the diva era came and I kind of lost interest, I think. I think there's always like people that grow up on wrestling. I feel like there's always like a stage or like an era where they're kind of like, maybe I'm going to lose interest for a bit, which I did. I never, definitely growing up, I didn't think I could do it.
What brought you back as a fan?
Probably seeing death matches for the first time.
Really?
To be frank, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was. Something between like the fact I realized it was fake and stuff like that, like growing up and being like, it's kind of disappointing. I kind of wish it was, real storylines and stuff. And then when I first saw Deathmatch, I was like, oh, this is real. Like they actually hate each other.
Yeah.
I actually thought that. So I started dabbling in CZW and ECW and stuff. And and then just actually during the pandemic, all I did was watch wrestling. And I'm a tattooer. So in Ontario at the time, we were locked down for 10 months.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't working. I just obsessed and studied everything. I was just, that's all I did was watch wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I had this moment, this epiphany where it was like, if I'm going to do this, which I think I can do this?
Yeah.
Am I going to do this? When everything opens again, should I just try to train? I really didn't think I could do it, but
Wow. Okay. So what made you be like, let's give it a shot? You were just like,
I always in the back of my
why not
mind, I'm
try?
like, I love performing.
Yeah.
And I used to do jujitsu growing up. I love fighting. I love wrestling as a whole. So I just thought I could give it a go. And like, it's time is ticking and I'm not going to have, time I'm like, started my 30s. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to waste any time. Let's just.
So where'd you go? What was step one?
So I emailed Lionsgate. At that point, I had just
Which is
moved to
Artie
Vancouver.
and Nicole
Yeah,
Matthews
exactly.
and Tony Baroni.
Tony Baroni, Cat Power.
Cap Hauer.
Yeah, so I emailed them, and they were still not training people. This is like just after the pandemic.
Yeah.
So finally, they emailed me back and were like, "Yeah, let's do a tryout." And the tryout was like 3 hours of grueling cardio.
Yeah.
And then, the rest is history. But I did definitely think I could only like do managing.
Yeah.
I always loved Francine.
Yeah.
And I thought like, I could be a mouthpiece. I could get in there, I could take some gnarly bumps. That would be cool. And I think that's what I'll stick to. But, just doing spots, chaining around, doing little mini matches at the school. I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to be a wrestler.
Obviously, your confidence must have been boosted when you realized,
was.
like, I can actually do this.
Yeah,
Let's
and like
go.
I wasn't super athletic growing up, and I don't know, I didn't have the confidence.
Sure.
And I wish, knowing now that it is possible for me, I wish I started sooner.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I just didn't have the confidence at the time, and you just figure it out and fucking do it, I guess.
So I gotta ask about the Gigi Allen tattoo. I just noticed it. So Gigi Allen, if you're just listening, extremely controversial musician.
Yeah.
If you watch his documentary Hated, it is some rare. He probably would have been canceled 75 times if he was
Jesus.
living in this era, right? So
even having this, sometimes people give me a hard time, like and I'm like, whatever.
So
But-
punk rock
Yes.
and underground music. When did that come into your life?
Grew up with it. Since I was a kid. My brother, he's quite a bit older than me, and actually my first experience with heavy music, punk and metal, he used to babysit me.
Okay.
And he would lock me in his room and turn up Slayer and
Nice.
have all the lights off. And he used to
my
actually, you know
God.
what he did once? He put porn all over his bed and he
Jesus.
locked me in there for hours.
Okay.
Dude, okay, but
That's
it
weird.
changed me and it made me cool, okay?
Okay, all right.
And I was like, at one point, I'm like, you know what? I fucking love this music.
Yeah.
And then I just got super into like Slayer and Sepultura, and then started going to hardcore shows, and then got into punk and just grew up in that scene. So
Yeah. And this was in Toronto?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh well, actually, I grew up in like the Orangeville.
Okay.
And then lived in another small town. So I lived in a bunch of small towns. And eventually moved to Toronto and.
Was it
you
bands
know.
like Fucked Up and stuff
Oh
like
God,
that?
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No
Awesome.
Warning. You saw my hoodie
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
time. Yeah. Terror. All those bands, but yeah, mostly I grew up in the metal scene though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Big Four. What we all know the Big Four. It's Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, and Megadeth. For you personally, what's your Big Four of metal? Just your top four favorite metal bands.
Sepultura, definitely number one. I do love Metallica.
Yeah.
Metallica was my favorite band. I think my first favorite metal band, Kill 'Em All, was my favorite record. I did love Iron Maiden too.
Yeah.
I can't even think right now. I did go through a huge hair metal phase as well. Huge Whitesnake fan.
Nice. You like Cinderella? You like Cinderella?
I have Cinderella lyrics on my
Wow.
on the back of my
How many
leg.
band
Night
tattoos
songs. I
do you
actually have
have?
a Whitesnake tattoo as well.
Wow.
Yeah. I have a lot of band tattoos. I have a Pantera tattoo, which I don't know are they still allowed?
I mean, R.I.P. Dime, R.I.P. Vinny. I
was
love
gonna say
Pantera,
they're
man.
in my top two as well.
I don't know about Phil, but
top
I
five.
love the rest of
he's
those
a little
guys.
sketchy. I don't know. I have like a little black metal guy. I probably have a bunch of band tattoos that I don't even like remember that I have, but
Nice.
yeah. Bolt Thrower is
Nice, yes.
probably one of my tops as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, okay, so we're talking about your tattoos. When did you become a tattoo artist?
Oh, fuck. Like 13 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was that, were you always an artist, like sketching on things?
Yes.
Okay,
That
so-
was the one thing I was really good at growing up. Super ADHD child.
Sure.
In and out of schools. All kinds.
Yeah.
For not showing up to class. But I always excelled in the arts. So
Yeah.
Always an artist, a painter, went to art school for a bit, took fine arts, Bachelor of Arts, and then eventually dropped out of that and started tattooing.
What was your process? Were you an apprentice? And then you
I
did that
apprenticed.
whole traditional way?
Back then, it was different.
Yeah.
The kids really had to work for it.
You had to kind of like clean the tubes.
Oh,
and
I was cleaning tubes. I was cleaning the floor. I was doing Buddy's laundry.
Yeah.
I was, no money for a year. Like, it was hard work.
Yeah.
It really was, but it was worth it. And yeah.
Paid your dues.
Yeah.
What was your first, tattoo you were proud of doing?
Oh my God.
Do you remember?
I feel like tattooing is so weirdly similar to wrestling, where it takes you, you don't get good overnight.
Yeah.
And there's so many things you need to learn on so many levels, like between safety and like knowing how deep to go and like whatever, and I feel like I was really insecure about my work for so long that like, I don't know when my first, like, I was stoked on a tattoo, but I don't know. I'm sure there's some out there that I love all my work now.
Cool. Where can people follow your work? Do you have like a specific Instagram, or is there a shop that people can go to?
Yeah. I work at a little private studio. It's called Le Papillon. It's in Vancouver, Canada. And then I have an Instagram too.
Awesome.
It's no_fate_tattoo.
Right on. Cool. So
that's my tattooing stuff. I haven't been tattooing a lot these days. I've been mostly focusing on wrestling stuff because I'm away every weekend, and that's usually like the busy times for tattooers. We tattoo on the weekend, right? So I'm like basically doing it part-time now, but I still love it. People ask me all the time, are you still tattooing or did you retire? I did not retire.
Yeah, it's still there, when you can pick it up.
Source of money.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
She's not retired.
I'm not retired.
Get tattooed by her, and but on a weekday. Set up a weekday. Yeah, set up a weekday appointment. What kind of music do you like to listen to when you're tattooing? Because when I worked for like maybe a month at a tattoo shop, being the front desk person, right? And I noticed that they played a lot of like The Sword. Led Zeppelin,
The Sword,
High on Fire.
I never want to.
It was
those
specific
two,
bands.
The Sword and High on
were
Fire and like
tattoo
3 inches
bands.
of blood.
Yeah.
I never want to freaking hear again.
It was like tattoo shop
it's
bands.
so true. And I used to work at this metal, like it's just like everyone there's a metalhead. It's just like everyone does like gnarly metal tattoos. It's called Wartooth and it's in Toronto.
Wow.
And I swear to God, all we did was listen to The Sword. It was like, felt like I was being punked every day. I'm like, this is like worse than waterboarding. But yeah.
But if you had a choice, would it just be your favorites? Just whatever you can do extreme metal.
I actually have playlists for like what different people like, because I like everything. I like country, I like hip hop, I like metal, I like punk. I have a huge range of music. So I have playlists for like a couple hours each playlist of like different genres. Cool. It's like what are you into? You're into crust punk? Okay, cool. I got your thing.
I gotcha. I got you. Yeah, that's cool.
But lately I've been listening to a lot of like old hip hop or just like, I don't know, like gangster.
Sure, yeah. So we have to mention the outfit, Sailor Moon, that homage to Sailor Moon. So are you a fan?
I'm a fan. Yeah, I love Sailor Moon.
Okay, awesome.
Big fan. But also the colorway, everyone from Lionsgate Dojo was doing like their gear in our colors. Yeah. The gold and blue. So I thought a Sailor Dojo would be a cute idea.
Absolutely.
So here we are. And it matches Miles' gear. So when I'm managing him,
yes,
it looks cute.
So what's your connection with Miles? When did you meet Miles, and when did you decide that you wanted to team up with him and be his manager?
I met him in training, and SOE, I don't even know how it started. I think I was just like, hey, do you guys want a manager? Like, I'm going to be a manager. And I just started training, and they're like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, So I just basically came out. I was so nervous the first show. I had to like push a guy or pull a leg or something, the usual. And I remember being so nervous for that. But yeah, they gave me a chance, which was awesome because it made me want to get into the ring more.
Yes.
It's like, I don't want to just be on the outside. Although they let me do because I'm obviously training consistently. So I'm doing Ranas and whatever, at training. So they're like, you can let's get you in there. Mm-hmm. So that was nice. I could basically practice being in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
Right. So that was really, really good opportunity for me.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
So you're a staple here at Defy, whether, the people like you or hate you. A lot of people hate you, but, that means that you're doing something right.
Yes.
What are your goals here at Defy?
I would like to be wrestling singles.
Yeah.
Eventually. So yeah, that's my goal for now, just to have some singles matches at some point soon and
Awesome.
Go from there. And, whatever. I have no expectations. I never have during this journey. I have zero expectations.
Sure.
Just going to try my best.
Yeah.
And hope for the best. And yeah.
It's taking you thus far.
I keep surprising myself because I literally this whole time been like, I can't do it. And then I'll do it. I'm like, oh, okay.
One step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. One step at a time. Yeah. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Who has been your biggest, who's someone that you'd like to shout out that's been like an advocate or helped you along the way the most? Like that's really helped make it click?
Well, Artie and Nicole are like insanely amazing patient trainers and so supportive. If it weren't for them constantly talking me off the ledge, I would have probably quit 6 times by now. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're just constantly push me, constantly like, should I do this show? Am I good enough? Yes. So definitely, yeah, my trainers are amazing and I would be absolutely screwed without them. So yeah.
And, this might be a little bit behind the curtain, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There's been several times where I've been there at Defy and someone didn't show up or something. And Matt was like, you got your gear? Let's go. And you got called up. And it was just
with
like,
Viva and
so I would say to any aspiring wrestlers, always bring your gear.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, that was a crazy opportunity. And I didn't hate what I did in the match either.
Yeah.
I was kind of stoked on it.
That's great.
I was like, oh, cool, neat.
You were there, you rose to the occasion, and it was badass. So.
Yeah, I was also very nervous for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is a cheesy way of saying it, and, but what we do here, we call the Defiance. It's not just the wrestlers, but it's the community we've built. Yeah. What does the Defiance mean to you?
Okay, the Defiance is definitely the hottest crowd I've ever come across. A lot of my Twitter fans are Defiance fans, and they're non-stop support, but also boo me all the time, which I really appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
They're just in it. They're like really involved in the storyline, and I love that, and it just makes wrestling really exciting. And I freaking always look forward to coming here more than any other promotion.
That's
I can
awesome.
honestly say that.
Cool.
So yeah, love the fans, and it's always the same people in the same seats.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
That's
thank you for coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's really cool. I love that. It's really special.
Absolutely.
Yeah, truly.
Last question for you, and show us if you can, but at least tell us the story. Pick a scar on your body. Doesn't have to be wrestling related, but tell us a story of a scar on your body, and show us if you can. Could be a corny childhood.
I have a really cool scar on my back.
I see it. Yeah,
it's like a Z kind of.
Yes.
It's from a light tube that Miles hit me with a light tube. But NEW Nation Extreme, they got the wrong tubes. They got the skinny tube with the LED or whatever in the middle. So the LED actually works like a whip. And it's got all these like little like divots in it.
Jesus.
And so it wasn't the glass. It was he actually hit it on top of my head too. So it was the LED inside whipped around and just went and just took out chunks of my skin. Like literal holes. I have pictures of holes in my back.
Can you show us one more time?
Sure. It's not very cool. I wish I had a bunch of cool like Takeda scars or something on my back, but some Jun Kasai's. Are you zooming?
You got it? We got the Z. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay, so favorite deathmatch wrestlers to end that with that. Favorite. Are you a Jun Kasai fan? Are you a...
Am I? Yeah. I almost cried when I met him at TOS this past year. So low-key embarrassing because it's like I'm a worker now, but I'm backstage going, over Jun Kasai.
You're a deathmatch ghoul, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. I really do love it.
Yeah.
It just it changed my life. It saved my life during the pandemic. I was so depressed. Well, we're all depressed, but wah, But it just I was so stoked on it. It just made me so happy. So yeah, Jun Kasai, Takeda, Nick Gage.
Yeah.
I love, Onita, duh.
Yeah.
How can you not? If that's not on your top 3, then you're a poser. Who else? Who I love is Casey Cattell or Casey Kirk. She's in ICW.
Okay.
But I love her. I love her work.
Yeah.
If I ever had a death match, I would pray it would be with her.
Do you think that's gonna happen in the future? Is that a goal?
I won't lie. It's gonna
happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. I love Rita Yamashita.
Okay.
She's on GCW. She's from Japan, obviously. Obviously I love like Terry Funk and Mick Foley's work.
Yeah.
There's so many. But yeah, that's definitely, I would say probably my top would be Onita and Jun Kasai.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to see some bloody matches with Tara ZEP in the future. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, I think so.
Tara, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's the Defiant Ones here at Washington Hall.
Professional wrestling has a brand new home where you can watch top-tier action for free. Defy, enjoy, PCW Ultra, and more. Your new destination for the very best professional wrestling. Remix.tv, where we watch wrestling.